You're a mutant. Created by magic.
We don't want your kind here.
Hunting monsters. For a price.
I've lived through 3 supposed end of days. It's all horseshit.
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by JEMS Art Studio. JEMS Art Studio is an online store that allows access to prints that you can use for most anything, obviously as just a picture, or as a wallpaper, or as a bookmark, or anything you can think of. You can find JEMS Art Studio at etsy.com/shop/JEMS Art Studio. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to another Organized Chaos podcast. My name is Bobby Quarters. With me, as always, is Bob. Bob, how are you today?
I'm doing all right. Watching lots of Witcher today, which will be a topic for the podcast today for some reason.
I also am still in the stint of watching quite a lot of what I think is not maybe Game of Thrones Witcher.
Yeah, it's definitely inspired by that. Yeah, today we're going to be covering both seasons of Witcher, which may have been a mistake on our part. They are shorter seasons, but man, doing 2 seasons in an episode is a bit much.
Yeah, that's like a full shift.
Yes.
Like a full work shift.
Yeah, but before we even get to that, we're going to talk about Death. Oh my God, blah blah blah. We're going to talk about Death to Smoochy, but then before that, we'll go ahead and bring up some news here because someone who died way too young died. New Year's Eve. Oof.
Yeah.
We are, of course, talking about Betty White. Kind of a legend. Even in like the later years, the day she died, I reposted her Deadpool review, which was just absolute classic. I believe part of her review was, "This is the ultimate family movie. Your family is a complete group of fucking inbreds." Yeah, no, she did lots of great stuff like that. I dug up one of the older stories about her that not a whole lot of people talk about, but I remember reading about a few years ago. So she had the Betty White show. I didn't actually realize it was the Betty White show. I know she was big in charge of it, but yeah.
I think it was like a variety show.
Yes.
Yeah,
she sang, interviewed guests, performed skits. Yeah, it sounds like a standard old variety show. Maybe not so standard in 1954?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but but there was a performer, Duncan, at 21, who had been part of a dance quartet, and he is an African-American guy. And Betty wanted to have him on her show, and the station did not like that. And told her, no, you can't have him on the show. And her response to the station at the time was, "I said I'm sorry, but he stays. Live with it." So yeah, Duncan was on the Betty White show at the time. And yeah, a super based response from Betty White there. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a little thing, It's easy to look at her from later years stuff, but earlier on, she was pretty awesome too. She was pretty awesome her whole life. So just kind of I wanted to talk about that story. I've seen better articles about it. This Washington Post one isn't very good. I assumed Washington Post would be decent on an article like that, but yeah, this is kind of all over the place. I think it's a great story. I don't think it's the best article on it, but
no. Well, I mean, I can't rag any journalist for doing it.
No. It makes sense.
I would have written something on my WordPress, but I really don't think there's much I could say about Betty. Can't be told through. I think people who knew her best could tell better testimonies about her.
Oh, absolutely. Well, she was a legend.
Yeah, and just I've enjoyed hearing stories about her, more about from her co-stars and stuff. I actually am going to find a quote that I found that I thought was the best fitting for it.
Nice.
This is what George Takei posted on Twitter shortly after he heard the news of her passing. Our national treasure, Betty White, has passed just before her 100th birthday. Our Sue Ann Nevins, our beloved Rose Nylund, has joined the heavens to delight the stars with her imitable style, humor, and charm. A great loss to us all. We shall miss her dearly.
That's good.
mean, yeah,
It kind
we had it perfect.
Yeah, it kind of summarizes all our thoughts on her at this moment, because she was
Our
epic.
national treasure. Our
Mhm.
national treasure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew that she always lived in comedy
Mm-hmm.
and always wanted to make a joke.
Yeah. What? No, never.
Like, I think she was really shined on the years that she did appear on those Comedy Central roasts, personally.
I'm not as familiar with those.
Yeah, they would do their own kind of take on the Friars Club, but they just called it the Comedy Central roast. I mean,
Yeah,
there's some that are less than desirable.
Yeah, I know, of
Justin
those,
Bieber.
but yeah.
Like Justin Bieber.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of those. I remember we're doing a roast of so-and-so. I'm like, why?
And then there's another guy who turned out to be like, a real piece of shit. They did a roast of him. They actually did two people like that.
Yeah, I don't remember who, but I remember they've done people like that where it's like, ooh.
Both are actors. One became a president. The other's just a sleazebag posing as a professor.
Ooh. So you did one on Joe Biden? No. No,
Actually, I realized something. All the times that everyone's ever said, let's go Brandon, they're actually saying, let's go Branson, as in Missouri.
Yes, clearly that's what they're saying.
Yes. Actually, I cannot take credit for that. I saw that today from a t-shirt company called Raygun.
Mm-hmm.
You should check them out, Raygun t-shirts. Let's talk about Smoochy's Magic Jungle.
Well, speaking of death...
Yes.
The first movie we're going to cover is a classic, Deathless Mother. It's a classic Bobby is super familiar with that I've never seen until this weekend.
Yeah, I'm quite happy about that. Okay, so prior to watching it, did you watch like a trailer or anything before?
I didn't watch any trailers recently. That being said, I was always aware of this movie. I always thought it sounded cool when I first heard of it when it came out, but never got around to seeing it.
Okay, did you watch the clip I had sent you?
The clip? No, I don't think I did.
Okay, because I sent you one that was just perfectly out of context. Just a clip out of context.
I'm not going to lie, occasionally I get stuff like that, and I always intend to click on it. But then, like, I'm at work or something, and then I just move on.
Yeah, I'm the same way. All right, so, okay, cool. So, first impression prior to the film, prior to viewing. What were your thoughts?
I didn't know much about it. I knew it's Danny DeVito. Probably I'm most familiar with him from the movie Throw Mama from the Train. So I'm expecting something kind of twisted. Also kind of knowing the basic premise, knowing it's going to be like this dark comedy. Just kind of going into it kind of hopeful. Afterwards, I'll say I really enjoyed it. It's not like if I'm judging it based on versus Throw Mama from the Train, I don't think it's as good. But I think it is good on its own merits. But yeah, I just love how quirky it is. Danny DeVito definitely loves his quirky characters. Like, even the straight men in his movies are weird.
Yeah.
Which, in this movie, I'm not even sure who the straight man would be. Maybe Edward Norton, but he is super weird. He is super weird.
Definitely Edward Norton.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's him, but like, it's more of... I think as opposed to like, the wacky and zany character versus the straight man character. Yeah. I think it's probably more of like a combination of that, but with a fish out of water element. Yeah. As opposed to being out of like, like a fish out of water. It's more of they're putting Sheldon the fish in a barrel. Yeah. And that barrel is New York City. And
yeah, to give you an idea if you haven't seen this, this is worth seeing, but this also isn't easy to track down. It's not streaming right now. You kind of
no. You have to buy it or rent it through Amazon. At least I rented it through Amazon.
Yeah, I actually went ahead and sucked up, got the $10 and bought it through Amazon.
My DVD is so worn it doesn't even play anymore.
Well, that's the thing. Like, standard definition, you can still get like a DVD, but if you want to get HD, you got to buy it and stream it. You got to do digital if you want HD of this, which is shocking. I'm like, how does this not have a Blu-ray at least?
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand not having a 4K because lots of stuff doesn't have 4K, but Blu-ray? Shit.
Yeah.
I didn't think this movie was that underground.
Apparently, because I think it would look amazing in like on Blu-ray and even better on 4K. Think about those sets. For the ending.
Well,
the ending.
Well, this movie is largely just so bright and colorful, and which is why it's also super dark, which is great.
Well, it goes from these really super bright and like, you know, well, let's set it up. It starts off with Robin Williams' character, a guy who's a kid show entertainer by the name of Rainbow Randolph.
Yeah, talk about colorful right there.
Oh yeah, so the set is like a magical rainbow set, and he does a big song and dance number for the kiddies with bright lights and colors, even little dancing. What were they? The Crinkle Kids. Angelo Pike and the Crinkle
Kids. Yeah, I want to say
Kids,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Angelo Pike, which was a group of little people entertainers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Which, okay, that's yeah, that's a little issue, but whatever.
They're getting work, okay?
But that's kind of the first dark humor joke that you get in this. Mm-hmm. It just only goes uphill from there.
Well, I mean, we see, like, early on that he is super sold out. Like, everything has the Rainbow Randolph brand on it. Kids cigarettes, hey, here you go.
You caught the kids cigarettes.
Yeah, no, actually, I can't take credit for that. My child caught it and said, hey, there's cigarettes on there. I'm like, no way, I rewound it and saw it.
That was still the third time after the first time I watched it. I caught the kids cigarettes.
Yeah, it's like, nice.
Yeah, that's like, oh, that's not right.
But yeah, I mean, not long into that, we see how super corrupt he is. We see, there's a bribe to get, I assume, somebody's kid on there.
Yeah, these parents try and bribe him with a briefcase full of money, which is just a nice trope. You never know how much could fit inside of a briefcase or whatever, but it's just a bunch of bills. So they hand it, and they hand it to him. They go, "You're going to make sure my kid dance up front, gets to sit in the chair, right?" And he pretty much accepts the bribe, tells him, "Don't tell him how to run his." No, he calls his kid a little booger eater.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how to run my business. And turns out they're feds. He gets busted in a bar.
Yeah, this is really the darker side of children's entertainment.
Yeah, so this is how this movie starts.
Yeah, this is like this isn't even spoiler territory. We're like within maybe 10 minutes, probably closer to 5 though.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially we got a station with no child. Like essentially the station's called KidsNet, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they're a full-fledged station or just like a syndication thing, but
it's KidsNet. It's the KidsNet network. So if
it sounds like a station.
City, I'm going to assume they're nationwide.
Yeah,
I'm going to assume that, and I'm going to assume that it was either a slight dig at Disney and Nickelodeon at the time.
Oh yeah, probably. I didn't even put that together, but yeah, it makes absolute sense.
Because I mean, like. The logo isn't exactly, mimicking one or the other. It's kind of borrowing from both.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Or maybe Danny just used it as a generalization.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't give Danny that because I don't think he wrote it. I think someone he knew wrote it and he just helped him depict it.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, he it's worth, I don't know if we said this, Danny DeVito directed this, so he definitely has an influence on how stuff looks in his movies.
Yeah, and I also know that like him and Williams were also producers of this as well. So I mean, if Robin found it hilarious enough to help fund it.
Oh yeah, well, this definitely seems like something that'd be right up Robin Williams' alley.
Oh yeah.
Like he never shied away from doing dark stuff. So.
Oh no, never. So all right, so. We see a board executive played by a very young and not graying Jon Stewart.
I know. When he popped up, it's like, oh, awesome, Jon Stewart.
Oh, John. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
wow, a baby-faced Jon Stewart.
Yes.
He doesn't even have any facial hair.
Yeah, it's true. Well, his hair is filled with color now.
Oh, yeah. He's real salt and peppered now.
He's not even salt and pepper. He's entirely salt.
Yeah, he's entirely. But you know what? That guy just does amazing work.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot knock at him at all. I got nothing but respect for that man.
Oh, yeah. No, Jon Stewart's awesome. Also want to throw, since go a little bit off here, throw a little respect to Danny DeVito, who is also awesome.
Yeah.
He is, he's huge Bernie supporter, which I totally get. And he always throws support behind unions and strikes and stuff like that, which I 100% respect.
Yeah.
So
Danny's always been behind the working man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito, someone else always gets my respect, period.
Period. Yeah. And years ago, I did find this really cool video on the band Fish on one of their fan forums.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody spotted him at one of their shows.
Nice.
like dead honest. I was like, oh, holy crap. Because I watched the video, someone's like, Danny, what's up? What's up? He just turns around, he's like, I'm waiting for Fish, man. Just turned right back towards the stage, and I was like, that is the coolest answer ever.
So we got Jon Stewart. They're desperate.
In the mindset, getting his ass reamed by a board of executives.
Yes.
Which, I love the camera work in this.
Oh, yeah.
Because, all the shots on Jon were, looking down, and all the ones on the executives were just looking up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was just subtle and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful little work like that. And just, God, Danny is such a brilliant director. I love it.
Well, yeah.
He tells his, camera guys and director of photography what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Great teamwork all around.
Well, he loves to do his quirky stories and just throw you as much as possible into the twisted world that he's going into.
Well, yes, and there's a beautiful example of that later in the film that I'm going to bring up. And it's one of my favorite moments in any of his movies. But so we go to Jon Stewart and his assistant, Kathleen Kern, right?
Kathleen Keener.
Keener.
Catherine Keener.
Catherine
yes.
Keener, yeah.
Yeah, she was all over the place at that time. She still pops up fairly regularly.
Yeah, and I've looked back at that movies from that time period, and I was like, holy shit, she did get a lot of work this time period.
Yes. I think the first time I noticed her was Being John Malkovich, which was just a couple years before this.
Yeah, Being John Malkovich. And she was great in that.
Oh, yeah. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something twisted, there's another option.
If you want to look at just a little bit of weird.
Yeah.
But so they're going through different kid show hosts through this parent giant folder they have. And apparently we're finding out that a lot of these people are just despicable human beings.
Yes.
They talk about this guy named Boogie Ding Dong, and they go heroin mule.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, okay. What was the other one? They said that was he was arrested.
No, there's quite a few I don't remember, but yeah, there
was a few that were just kind of
yeah.
There was some lady that she asked him, and she did a popping gesture. And he said, "Don't break my balls." And it's like, oh, I get it. She must have gone.
Yeah.
That's just oh, this is just, you're getting the jokes and getting the feel that the majority of these people are just terrible, and this network has had a slew of terrible failures of kid show hosts. Yeah. They find one, Sheldon Mobes, Smoochy the Rhino.
Mm-hmm.
And they're reading about it. It's like, this guy is perfect. He has never had a whiff of controversy. Nothing has ever. This guy is perfect. I believe the phrase Stewart used was, he's a bottle of pancake syrup with legs.
Yeah, something like that.
Which I've always loved that, and I've used that ever since I've seen that movie, because that is just so funny.
Yeah. Well, as I recall, didn't Catherine Keener have issues with him? I don't remember what. Maybe she thought he was too clean or something like that. But
who, Jon Stewart?
No, the Catherine Keener character. No, Jon Stewart was 100% on board. As I recall, he kind of forced it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just thought, are you serious? Are we stooping to this level already?
Yeah.
Are we really going this route?
Yeah.
She doesn't think, are you serious? We could just get one of these guys in and tell him to play ball.
Mm-hmm.
But nope. Jon Stewart was her boss, so she went out, found him at a methadone clinic on Coney Island, playing to a bunch of dope fiends.
Yeah, in his costume and everything.
In his big homemade costume, which I think is like an old wrestling football helmet.
Yes.
He painted pink and made a rhino head. He's got big old stuffing. Like, it just looks like a giant fluffy Muppet coat.
Yeah.
Some sweatpants with some hockey pads.
Yes. It looks very homemade.
Very, very homemade and just like DIY. And this guy just seems so green. So green in this world.
Well, that's part of the thing. Like, we introduce this character as she's getting introduced to him, and he is just so, oh my god, just way too like I want to say good, but like it's almost frustratingly good, because it's like everything is just got to be like all natural, all perfect.
Yeah, but I think also at the same time you get this genuine sense with it. Like,
oh yeah,
he's being real. Like, you know, he's being very real, and it's that, and you see that kind of look of just shock, like, oh my god.
Yeah, he is hardcore into this.
He is into it. And then they go to get hot dogs, and he gets a big speech about what it would take to throw some soy dogs and getting gluten-free buns in Nathan's hot dogs, which I just find fucking hilarious.
Yes. It's like, oh my god. Oh my. But he even has he doesn't even use ketchup. He has this black shit he keeps in his bag that he puts on the hot dog. Looks kind of like oil.
It's a little with gross. Almond butter.
It's a little fucking gross looking.
Little fucking gross. He gets some stuck in his teeth.
Yeah, and it makes his teeth look fucking green. It's like, oh, lovely.
I just wonder how many takes Edward Norton had to do with that.
Oh, I don't know, but it's pretty awesome. You know, and this is the straight man. This is supposed to be like this is the closest we get to like an everyman character in this movie, because he is somehow the most normal.
Well, I would say, in argument, I think everyone else would be the everyday man, and
maybe
maybe Danny DeVito.
No, not Danny DeVito.
Spinner was the straight.
Oh god.
We haven't got
sure, yeah, but yeah. So he gets the show. We get to see them actually make a very nice costume for him, like Barney the dinosaur style costume. Pretty good looking, man. Yeah. I think they actually put serious effort into it to make it actually look like this could be a children's show costume. Which
they did.
I really appreciate
into it, and I really appreciated the fact that he even had it so he could still play the guitar. That was like, oh, that's a very nice touch.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's little details like, you know, how he clearly buttons on the arms, which like for like a long-term shoot that makes sense, but for something like a movie, they won't need to do that. But they went ahead and put that extra detail into it, which I really appreciate.
And even later, you see him in a scene unbuttoning.
Yeah, plenty of times. Yeah,
like, and it's just that little bit. Now I wonder how much of that was DeVito or Ed wanting to be that.
I don't know. I know Edward will get a bit into that, but
we get great stuff out of it.
Yeah, it works. I mean,
yeah, it works. It totally does. Mm-hmm. So after the full transformation, we see the set. Mm-hmm. Because earlier we saw a quick little montage of the whole Rainbow Randolph set getting torn down after we found out he was corrupt. We see a new set get put up just as quickly.
Yes.
Which I think is a very nice touch, because it's like, wow, yeah. So they've gotten really good at this, guys. That crew has gotten really good at tearing down and setting it up.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and they just reuse everything. What, the Spinner Kids or Spinner Rats? Anyways, they're the Rhinettes now.
Yeah, you had the Crinkle Kids. Now they're all the
Rhinettes. The Crinkle Kids. Yes.
Now they're the Rhinettes.
Yes. Spinner something.
And you see a scene where Edward Norton, before their first show, going up to the lead of all of them. This guy Angelo Pike, he's like, hey, I just want to say I was a really big fan of what you did with Rainbow Randolph, and I just really appreciate you coming on board and, you know, being a Rhinette and being a part of the show with me. He just goes, job's a job.
Yeah. I get paid the same. I'm good.
I mean, in theory, they're all probably contracted to the network.
Yeah, absolutely.
By this point, they're probably all contracted.
Yeah, networks like, we better make use of them. Shit.
I mean, like, they probably have all went in like, look, none of us have ever had a drug addiction.
Yeah.
Because I guess before Rainbow Randolph, it was Buggy Ding Dong.
Yeah.
I guess that was the first one.
Yeah, I would guess at least, man.
Because they make mention of him the most, and that's just the logic I have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This movie is kind of interesting to me because I think there's just so much more to it that never did.
So how many spin-off movies do we need? I think we need a Smoochy cinematic universe.
Oh, absolutely need a Smoochy cinematic universe.
But we can't have Robin. That's sad.
Yeah.
We're getting sad again.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we first see Robin Williams try and make contact with Jon Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he just tries to ask him for help. He's like, I have nothing. I'm out on the streets. I don't have anything. And Jon Stewart just kind of gives him a benefit freebie bag that he got from some fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Is that pretty much a fuck off?
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Yeah.
Everything he ever needed except nothing.
Yeah, it was like a disposable camera, hand sanitizer. Or yeah, it was skin moisturizer and like rum flavor or amaretto flavored peanuts.
Yeah, Robin Williams is going down a dark path, which he was already kind of down in that Rainbow Randolph. Yeah, he was already going down that.
Yeah, he was. He was already kind of living life fairly corrupt, taking bribes.
Yes. Well, one of the things that kind of annoys me with this movie, but also kind of works, and I'm so mixed on it, is the Catherine Keener character. She is kind of developed to be kind of she's kind of a straight man character too, almost. But her big thing is that she likes to fuck essentially these child entertainers. Mm-hmm. That seems to be her kink. So at first I didn't like it because it almost felt like, oh, we have a female character who's prominent, and of course she's going to hook up with Edward Norton. That feels just super forced and just super obligatory. But also making it a kink made me kind of like it, just because it's so wrong at that point.
Well, I think it kind of took on that trope and then just kind of,
Yes. Well, you know, it's established that she is an ex of Rainbow Randolph. I don't think we get anything with Buggy in her, but just kind of... But yeah, it's that was something I had mixed feelings.
So
was there anything with Buggy in her?
I think there was a line of dialogue.
Oh God,
between the two of them.
There might have been, where it's just like, oh, of course.
What's wrong? Don't think I remember.
Oh God.
Oh, that actor though.
Oh yeah. I don't know his name, but it's the guy from Ghost.
Yeah, the bottle cap, the quarter guy.
Yes.
All right, so Robin Williams is starting to go off the deep end. He sneaks onto the set for the first day of no, it wasn't the first day of filming. It was like no,
it was a couple days into it. Yeah, but yeah,
it was a couple days into it.
Oh yes, that's right.
The set. So he decides what he's going to do is he's just going to get back at him. He's going to get back at him because there's a cookie segment.
Yes.
And before the show, we see Sheldon, Edward Norton's character, and Kathleen Kern's character arguing over a part of the show. And, you know, pretty much, you know, she wants him to sell a bunch of sugar and stuff to the kids. He's like, no, that's wrong. These are kids. And he kind of calls her out for it. And you see her kind of just have a, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, he's right. And she's pissed off because, you know, he called her out on her BS. And he goes and doesn't change the lyrics, but she's about to yell at him and lose her cool with it. And then we see, like, him pull out a cookie from a cookie bag, and it's a penis cookie.
Yes. No. No, it was a rocket. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, well, he tells the kids it's a rocket ship.
Yeah, it's
Robin
clearly a
Williams
penis.
Comes running out, and then says probably some of the best one-liners out of the
Yes.
movie.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yes.
See, is Jimmy and the twins, Rumple Foreskin.
Yeah.
Dicomus Maximus is what he said is the one-eyed Wonder Weasel.
I know he definitely straight up calls it a penis at least once.
Yeah, a penis. Yeah, a penis. Yeah.
But we all know it's a Jeff Bezos spaceship. But yeah,
Bezos ship.
Yeah, it's a Bezos ship. But yeah, it's that was a classic moment, and yeah, his one-liners really. You just see him going off the deep end because it's like. His whole prank is essentially failing under the rocket ruse, which it's obviously not a rocket, but fuck it, he's making do with what he's got.
Saved that.
Yeah,
he saved it. He totally saved it.
So he's like, no, you can't save it. I'm going to go on the set right now and just call it every dick thing I can think of.
Yeah, and then he gets thrown out.
Of course.
And what starts is like a lot of hilarious scenes of Robin Williams just getting the shit beat out of him.
Oh God, yes.
Like he gets thrown out of the set, and it's like on this metal staircase that goes right into a brick wall. So he falls and hits like every note. It's a concrete stairs.
Yes.
Yeah. Against the wall. So he's hitting every step the wall and then smacks right into the wall at the ground. And you see like a tooth even.
Yeah, I was about ready to say, I think one of the first things he does is spit out a tooth once he lands.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he gets beat up as the movie goes, which
just gets the crap kicked out of him throughout this whole movie.
Yeah. I think there's even a point where he just gets a new bruise and he just says, oh yeah, this happened. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the next scene is he goes over to Angelo's house and he just says, I have nothing to do. Like, I need help, and Angelo lets him in because he sees that he just needs help and he tries to help him out. To Angelo's credit, he does legitimately try to help him.
Yes, he does very much. He's an example of no good deed goes unpunished, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't go too bad for him, but yeah, Rainbow Randolph watches something. Well, he watches Edward Norton on TV, but I don't remember exactly what he's watching, but he just freaks the fuck out.
Yeah, he starts beating up a TV, calling him like, you illegitimate son of Barney.
Yeah.
You illegitimate Teletubby.
Yes.
Bastard son of Barney.
Yes. And when this is happening, all I can think is, oh God, poor Angelo.
Yeah, it's like, oh, his TV.
Yeah, and it's an old picture tube TV to give you an idea of the time, because Angelo was like, oh my God, that's
a picture-in-picture.
Yeah, it's a really nice TV. Well, okay.
That line still cracks me up.
Yeah. Picture-in-picture, man.
That's a picture-in-picture. What's wrong with you?
But, what? Sometime before this, I believe we get introduced to Danny DeVito, who becomes Edward Norton's agent.
Yeah.
Who is awesome. He's a scumbag here.
He's a sleazebag.
I know, Danny DeVito playing a sleazebag is so contrary to everything you've ever seen him play.
Oh, yeah.
But,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's just a sleazebag. He's working for Merv Green, as played by Harvey Fierstein, who I remember when we don't see him, we just hear his voice, and it sounds like Harvey Fierstein, but like toned down. So I'm assuming it's not Harvey Fierstein, but then we see him and it is.
And it's him. He's just kind of speaking at a lower voice. He's kind of doing Batman.
And it also makes me wonder, is this his normal voice and he plays it up normally? Or is it playing up his normal voice? I don't know. But
right, so we do meet Danny DeVito. He meets Edward Norton, and then he becomes his agent.
Yes. But he's actually working for Harvey Fierstein, who is a big mob boss. It appears in the Ice Capade circuit, something like that. The Parade of Hope.
Charity for children.
I love how this movie talks about just makes these like charities just like gangsters. I love that.
Yeah. I thought that was a very nice touch.
Yes. We are a non-profit. We will fuck you. We will.
so let's not fuck it up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Like, I think the best way is, like, the first time he ever met, the first time when Edward Norton met Harvey Firestein's character, he's like, you ever try getting that across without the firearm?
Well, that's true. Danny DeVito gives Edward Norton a gun as well, which
He does.
he was not
calls
happy
it, like-
about.
Yeah, he calls it, like, call it a tool of the trade.
Yeah. This is something you're just going to have to do, man. It's like,
But
okay.
that will come into, but that will come into play a little later.
Oh, yeah, we obviously.
Obviously, that will come into play a little later.
No, when a main character
So-
gets a gun, it never comes into play. I don't know where you're getting your information.
No. So, all right. One of the times that they're at the actually the same time that he gets, or I think it's right after that, or the first time that he meets Danny DeVito, they also are at this restaurant, the same restaurant where is apparently the only restaurant that everyone eats at in New York City, is the same restaurant that we see throughout the whole movie. It's the same place.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Did you realize that it was the same place?
I didn't
every
catch that was literally the same place, but I caught that always looks the fucking same. Like every place they go, it's the same.
Yeah, no, it's the same bar every time.
Nice.
But so they go to this place, and Dan DeVito's telling Edward Norton about it, and it's like, yeah, this place, it's Irish mob ran. The Irish mob owned this place.
Sure.
And you meet some of the people in the Irish mob. A lady by the name of Tommy Carter.
Yes.
And, she has her goons. And the person who's the poster boy of this place is a retired boxer by the name of Spinner Dunn.
Yes.
Spinner's had a lot. Champ's had a lot of matches.
He's had some hits to the head. Let's just say that.
Champ's had a hell of a career. You could hear it when he talks to you.
Yeah, he's special. Well, one of the things he always does, which was kind of funny, every time he'll be like, "Hey, I'm Spinner." It's like, "Hi, Spinner." He's like, "No, I'm Spinner."
No, I'm Spinner.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, yes.
We've established that.
I am well aware of your name and my name. Yeah, he just seems like a guy who is super well-meaning. He's a nice guy.
Super nice dude, yeah.
Not all there anymore. No.
As Edward Norton put it, it's like, he happens to be a very sweet person, just, with the disposition of a 5-year-old.
Yes, that would be a good way to put it.
Yeah, he's a very great person, an ambassador for his sport. He just happens to have the sweet disposition of a 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm. But,
yeah, true.
but Spinner is isn't Spinner even a fan of Smoochy before?
Mm-hmm.
Or
a big fan of Smoochy.
So
loves Smoochy.
But he is such a nice guy, so he does get a role on the show. At first, he's playing the cowbell.
Yeah, he's playing like a safari man who's playing a cowbell.
Yeah.
There's after a while that goes, a little well.
Yeah.
One day, this is after Edward Norton has some full control, he gets a phone call from somebody. Somebody saying they were having a charity that he would like for him to be the host of, where it's going to be a big charity event where it's going to be an orphan that's going to present him with an award for his continued dedication for children entertainment. Really, it's Robin Williams' character pulling a con on him, and he's like, "Well, yeah," and it's like, "Great, I'll have somebody by." He speaks to him in one accent over the phone.
Yes.
Then picks him up and has a completely different accent the second time.
What?
Like the first time, it's almost kind of like a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
And and when he goes to pick him up and drive, it's a full-on English accent.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm kind of okay with that because I just feel like it's him trying to do different characters, trying to fully flesh out the con. But as he's driving him and escorting him, he bounces back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah, he bounces between the Scottish and the English to his normal voice.
Yeah.
And back to the Scottish, and then to his normal voice, enraged. It's really great just to watch Williams just kind of literally drive this scene.
Yeah,
literally and figuratively.
I'm not even 100% sure how much of that was scripted, because just knowing Robin, that could just be him just doing shit off the cuff. Just, hey, can I just do goofy accents all over the place here? Sure.
I know that on the old DVD I had, there was like a scene of like bloopers, and there was quite a few of that angle of Robin in the front and Ed in the back, and even hit like that shot of him leaning over, and a few of like both of them laughing. Which really, it's like, oh, can I see that whole reel?
Yeah.
Of all the times they just laughed and broke character while they did that.
Mm-hmm.
I would keep a tally. Who made who laugh the most?
But yeah, we all know it was Robin.
Oh yeah, we all know it would be Robin.
But
let's see. So the con that he's pulling them on, we're in an old tractor warehouse, and it's in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks sketchy right when you see it pull up, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sheldon Mope's just being so naive.
Very well-meaning, this guy.
So well-meaning, but so naive.
Yes.
Going, wow, I've never played a tractor warehouse before, sir. Now, I mean, obviously, there's some red flags already.
Yeah.
See, like, a few shuttle buses there, a bunch of big tractors and farm equipment, but, you know, not a lot of real cars or anything, any signs of any sort of, like, people. We hear a slight rumble, but nothing really.
Mm-hmm. Just
general kind of talking. And then we hear a voice, we are proud to present our very special guest, all the way from the special jungle, Smoochy the Rhino. He walks out, there's a big light on him, and he's like, hi, New Jersey! And he starts playing a song, and he's like, well, you know, it's awful hard to see your friends, and he's holding his hand up a little. So
yeah.
And he's just it's like, can we maybe turn the lights on so I could see your friends out there? Lights go on, the house lights go on, room full of Nazis. Yeah. He's standing there like that.
Yes, they all salute him back. And then
Heil Smoochy.
You get the big swastika banner drop behind him. Of course, that's when all the photos go off.
Yeah, it is
not a good look.
Not a good look.
No.
Not a good look, bud.
No, he is stunned.
A great close-up on him going, I hope I'm dreaming. There's a great interrogation scene. And how they shot that was like, or how Danny did that with like these obviously cops coming by. Sorry, I just smacked my microphone.
Yeah.
And like interrogating him questions like, is Smoochy a code word for white power?
Oh God.
How many times have you read Mein Kampf?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Adolf Hitler, your personal hero. And it's like I don't hate anybody. So does that mean you don't hate Nazis?
Yes. Well, yeah. So he does get fired for a little bit from that, but I'm trying to remember why he gets back. Do they just get so desperate because there's like no better alternative?
No. They find out that Rainbow Randolph set him up.
That's right. Yes.
Like he goes to Kathleen's apartment. Oh wait, that's right. I forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention something. There's a scene when Sheldon runs into her on the street, and he's trying to tell her, like, look, I was framed. I was set up. You know, I had no idea it was a Nazi rally, which she says probably my favorite joke in the whole movie. Funny, the 50-foot swastika behind you would have been the first clue.
Yeah. Hey, he has a good defense for that.
That is a good defense, but still, though, like, you know, the 50-foot swastika should have been the first clue.
Yeah. But yeah, that is right. And then Robin Williams comes to her later, and he's like, "Hey, can I get my job back?" You know,
since the Rhino is a Nazi. Oh, wait, he does have a beautiful scene of him dancing in the park to it, where he scares a small baby.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, little nipple nibbler, the Rhino's a Nazi." The baby cries. Which that scene, just that lighting on there, and all the camera work, and his like kind of tap dance through Central Park was really cool.
Yeah. That did look cool. Yeah.
Or not, but that was just it. Visually, it just looked so cool. Mm-hmm. So cool.
Yes, it did.
DeVito was a brilliant director. I can't say that enough.
Yeah, he knows how to get a cool like shot. Just the shot. He knows how to get the shots to get you in the proper mood for what you're about to see. Essentially, I don't know how better to say it. He knows what he's doing. You know.
Geez, even that rally scene was epic.
Yes. It was all bright. You had no idea what was going on. You just, as the audience member, you're just waiting for the lights to go down so it's finally revealed what the fuck this actually is.
And like you see all the lights from that perspective of the stage, and them coming up, going like, "That's a bunch." And then you see a few iron crosses in the back here, and as soon as your brain is processing, like, "Wait, what the?" It does a few close-ups on people. Some German old music is playing, and you see the armbands, and you're just,
Yes.
You just realize, like, oh man. There is a scene right before he gets that phone call to go to the Nazi rally. She comes over to apologize to him for being kind of rude during the show and commend him for how well he was able to save the show and the cookie segment and all that. And while she was drunk and she was over there, they both realized that they had the same favorite childhood entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
So when Rainbow went over there, we see a tape of her watching Ricketts the Hippo, which was their favorite one.
Yeah.
Actually, really, the quote that they said is a quote. I can't remember all of it. It's like sometimes light is really dark. Sometimes stars look like dark. It was like, I forget all of it, but it's a nice little limerick, and I've always enjoyed it and kind of took that with something I've taken from the movie, that little bit of information, because it's good words. You know, like it's the end of it is just said, "Don't think you know everything." Robin Williams' character comes over and kind of lets it slip that he had something to do with it.
Yes. Mm. Well, he's giving out information that he shouldn't know.
Yeah, saying things that are really weird. Like he said, like, you know, he's probably gay too. You should have seen the way he was checking me out in the car.
Yeah.
It's like, car. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You know something about what happened to him?
Yeah.
Did you have anything to do with it? Yeah. And she ends up knocking him out, and somehow he gets arrested. So I think she called the police. They got all that sorted out. New York City forgives Smoochy.
And Rainbow Randolph has a new bump on his head somehow. He's well, I kind of like how he does his downward spiral, and as he does it, he's getting more wounds.
We are forgetting the thing that he did to get paid, or what he did to what caused him to freak out and break the TV. Those Irish goons, when they found out that oh no, she came into the bar. That's right, and the Irish goons beat him up. The Irish gangsters beat the crap out of him and turned him into the police, because they go to the bar and, you know, we see Spinner. He's having a tough go of it. He's not happy what the news is calling Smoochy a Nazi. Mm. He knows he's not a Nazi. He knows that's some bull.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm looking for Bert," and he talked about Sheldon. That gets Spinner's attention. Like, what's wrong with him? What happened? Mm. So Tommy sends his goons after him, and they just beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
And there's some pretty good exchange. Like, I think one of the funnier parts is with one of the gangsters where the lead one, Tommy, she's like, "Hey, Jimmy, do you have the hammer?" He's like, "Always have the hammer, Tommy." Mm-hmm. They have a big party at the bar afterwards to welcome Sheldon back. Tommy asked, "Is there any way we can get him another job? Like something that doesn't, like, you know, make noise, because this bell is giving me a headache."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's like, "Yeah, you know, I'll see what I can figure out." He tells his agent Bert he was going to pull out of an ice show, but now he's going to do it, and instead he's cutting out the Parade of Hope, a charity that he thinks is greedy, and he doesn't want their hands on anywhere near it. And he's also doing it to save a methadone clinic,
yes,
the same one he used to play at. So, as he puts later, a lot of kids and a lot of junkies are really dependent on me doing this ice show.
No, essentially he said at first, "I'm going to give half the profits to this charity." It's like, "Oh my God, you're giving away half the profits?" He's like, "No, because I'm giving the other half to this charity."
Yeah.
There are no profits from this. There are
going to be no profits from it. All the refreshments and snacks will be provided by me for free.
And they're all going to be healthy, and it's like, oh
juice,
my God.
Salt-free pretzel. It's like, oh, dude, you're cutting everybody out.
Yes. They're very happy about this.
Yeah, and they're all like freaking out. The Parade of Hope decides to put a hit out on Sheldon.
Mm-hmm.
That is their first mistake.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty much when we go into Act 3. So
Spinner's first show and the new role.
Yes, he is Smoochy, Smoochy's brother. Or is it his brother? I think it's his brother.
It's his cousin. Yeah,
cousin
from an African wildlife preserve.
So essentially, he has the same costume but a different color, but it's the same costume.
Yeah.
And
he does he does a little bit good of a show.
Yeah.
He gets a little stage fright the first time.
Yeah. It's not great, but Smoochy is able to cover for him largely. And there's something to be said for not him constantly hitting the cowbell out of beat.
Yeah, because that's how great it was before.
Yeah.
He was having fun.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
Yeah. He means well.
I'm gonna go get drunk now. Okay, you have fun, buddy.
Listen, he's not all there, but he is a very well-meaning guy, which means what happens to him next, as you might be able to tell, is super tragic. It's the low point of the movie by a mile.
And it's actually the opening title card for the film we got earlier.
Yeah.
A complete shot where we see these goons rough up a dude in a rhino costume and put two in his head.
Yes.
Except this time we know it's Smoochy.
Yeah,
it's Spinner.
Yeah, Spinner gets whacked.
Yeah. They dump him in Chinatown and they break his neck.
And the family that helps out Spinner, they're not happy about it at all.
That was his cousin. That was his cousin, the Irish mobster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's not too thrilled. Later we see Sheldon at the ice rink skating. Tommy comes to visit him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the scene where I just want to just commend Danny as a director. You see them talking up in like up a pavilion area. They're talking. We see the ice rink behind them. And, it's like, well, so we showed a picture of like the crime scene, to a cousin from the family. You met him at the funeral. He works for the coroner's office. Mm-hmm. And he had mentioned that broken neck, that's a calling card of the Parade of Hope. Really? Who's the guy who runs that? They get his name. So then you see, well, Sheldon's thinking, okay, we know who. He's going to get a first-class ticket through the criminal justice.
Yeah.
Like, it's already taken care of.
No, he's not. No.
He's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, sometimes. And in a line that really seems like she's talking to him and answering his question, we see her walk over to a new frame. And then she's and camera switches in a new frame where we see Merv tied, beat up.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, I love that edit.
Oh yeah, that was just and without a cut on the audio at all. She's like, sometimes a man has to answer for his life, for his transgressions in this world. And she's like, you want to talk? And then Merv's not giving it. And she's like, oh, it's like, oh, you did it for kids. Oh, okay. Hey, Danny, tell him about the worthless prick who gets his head cut off with an axe.
Yeah.
And we see the axe go up, and then a quick shot to a very mortified Edward Norton. Now, in the old DVD copy I had, there was a scene that was supposed to be right before that, where Danny stood right off camera, and like they had the light and everything on the actress's face, and he squirted a little bit of red liquid that went right across where her eyes were.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a shame he didn't leave that in because that. I see why, but
it gets the point across. But I like that too.
The axe still gets the point across.
Oh yeah,
just fine. But that is like, ooh, that's tasteful.
I think now
we see shit like that in movies all the time.
Yeah,
and people go, "Oh, it's so stunning, it's so art." Danny DeVito was doing this, but he decided, nah.
Yeah, he decided that was a bit too much, just to give you an idea.
Much. you get the idea with the axe. I mean, I love it. It looks great. It's something that just, I love it. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But that was his note. Nothing wrong with this. Just time.
Yeah.
Take it.
Wrong with it. When you're editing, there are like lots of times when you look at deleted scenes, you'll be like, oh, well, that's a good scene, but I see why you cut it because it's redundant. And that would be what that is. It's not bad. It's redundant.
There's some great scenes from the original Halloween that they cut out only just because they repeat the same dialogue in the next scene, and there's no point in being that repetitive. But that latter scene just had a shot of Michael driving in the background, so that's kept.
Exactly.
Little stuff, and it's not even pivotal dialogue. It's more of leave the keys under the Myers house. Something like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I know what you mean, though. But yeah, still though, whew, yeah, great scene. That is like, I love that edit. It's just so beautiful. And while you're still more just either in shock of what, just how Edward Norton's character is feeling, if you're in that much shock, Her boys are there to cause some levity. He's like, and then we took his head and played a little. Oh, okay, Danny, I don't need to hear anymore.
Well, I kind of sworn, wasn't there a line where Jon Stewart talks about finding his head or something?
On the concourse, yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, well, I mean,
the movie. Well, we always knew the movie was going towards a very dark direction. This is where it hits it. It's holy shit.
This is just more a buckle up.
Yeah.
You know what we're just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bert and Jon Stewart's character, they start freaking out, as you mentioned. They found his head on the concourse. So they decide we need to take care of this. We need to get rid of the rhino. We just need to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do it. So they hire Buggy Ding Dong,
yes.
another former host, and a heroin mule. And it's the same actor who played in Ghost. He was the quarter guy, the guy who helped, Dalton move the coins.
Yes, Vincent Scalavilli.
Scalavilli.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, I know he's.
Oh yeah, he was in
career.
Yeah, he was in Tomorrow Never Dies. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what else he's been in?
What?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, was he? I see. Yeah. The Adventures of Bukru Banzai, which is a movie I feel like I should watch again because I've only seen it once, like a decade ago. But it comes up fairly regularly. Are you familiar with that one?
No.
That maybe we'll cover that one some point.
He was also in those old Rhino home video ads. So yeah, they hire Buggy. Buggy somehow goes to the television station, kind of speaks in pseudonyms to Nora. That is Kathleen Kerner's name, Nora, her character name.
Yeah. Kathleen
about how he's going to be that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, we both keep watching it. But yeah, so he keeps saying how he's going to be back on TV, and she goes over and thinks he's crazy. Rainbow Randolph then comes in, and they have a very unclimatic end to a fight. But the two of them together fighting at the end or near end are hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's holding him down by the fire. Is this what you want, Rainbow? Is this what you want to go down in flames? The flames, they're burning me alive.
Yes.
She just ends up eating them, and they just go, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Mm-hmm.
And he just realizes that he's just mad, and he breaks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he just realizes that he just Sheldon says you just need a friend. You need someone to listen to you.
Well, I do think while he is hilarious, Rainbow Randolph's arc is by far a highlight of this movie.
It really is.
He sells it.
Yeah, and Williams just goes, you see the depth, and you see him at that low, and then him just kind of you see the redemption we see the redemption later, but we see him realizing how wrong he is and realizing that they just want to help.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Sheldon's the real deal. And he's like, you're the real deal.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm whatever you need. What do you need? I'm here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he's all for it. They realize that he's going to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, he goes over Buggy steals Angelo's press pass. Angelo calls Randy. That's how he goes and gets to the ice show to help out Sheldon. And this is the end point of the movie. So we're at the big show. So, Buggy's there. He's going to kill Sheldon. Sheldon's putting the show on as him. Burke and Jon Stewart's character, they're in the stands, just going to pretend to be shocked when it happens. They know what's happening. They're just waiting. We see Tommy and her boys there. They're looking for Rainbow Randolph. They don't know that he and Sheldon are. He doesn't know that. They don't know that Rainbow's. He's on the up and up. There's a lot of moving parts in this part.
Yeah.
Surprisingly for this movie, there are so many moving pieces right now.
Yes. And I do want to point out, the light show, the ice show is kind of beautiful looking. I don't see them actually doing an ice show looking like that in real life, but for the film, which is obviously what it's made for, my God, they get some great shots out of this silly ice show. It's beautiful. Oh my God. The thing where he's by himself skating to the body of Smoochy. By the way, the ice show kind of covers a lot of what's happened in the movie.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit where he skates to Moochie's body. It's oh my God, that is beautifully shot. Oh my God.
Yeah. This is a work of art, Danny.
Yeah.
My God. And we get to like the ending part of the ice show, or at least a big moment when Moochie's walking up to heaven, and that's when Buggy kind of comes in and out of heroin naps and takes his shot.
Mm-hmm.
But while this whole climax of the show is going on, we see Randolph get there. We see him run out to the crowd and see the laser beam, because we see Norris look at Bert and Jon Stewart. They're looking up at where he is. She sees what Rainbow sees what Nora's looking at. He looks in that direction. Tommy and her boys see Rainbow, and then they see where he's looking, and they're kind of looking similar in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't see that.
Yeah.
It's just obvious because their eyes are on him, so that they're going to see, well, what the hell is he looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Or if not, they're going to be looking up now. A shot comes, it just takes off the antler in an ear.
Well, it's not clear exactly what happens with that shot.
Yeah,
but
it's not clear, but we see it hit him.
Yes.
We see pieces of the suit go up, and we see him and we see a Buggy and Rainbow fighting. They go to fall off. Rainbow's holding onto his leg, and then he lets go. And then, like probably in one of the greatest death scenes ever, he's falling. You hear him say, "I never saw Venice." And it does that cheap thing of it following him as it falls.
Yeah.
But it's clearly like on a blue screen how they filmed it. But I just loved how that looked. I really enjoyed how that looked.
One thing I would have probably added, and maybe he didn't want to do this, is just I would have had like a huge pool of blood around him on the ice rink, just in the middle of that children's theater.
Slowly.
Slowly. Just all over the place. Just super dark for the children's show. Yes. And a murder.
And then the house lights come on.
Yes.
But we see, we see Sheldon get up. He's fine. He sees Bert running away. He goes after him. They start firing. They kind of exchange some gunfire, and then Bert gets the upper hand, starts threatening him. And, he tells him, he just makes it clear he's about to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. Changed my battery. Hold on.
Oh, fuck. I didn't remember. I do not remember that in the movie at all.
Oh, I had to. Hold on. We are chasing Bert down. He starts to get the upper hand. Nora points a pistol at the side of his head. They're both pointing them in. And excuse me, sorry. And then Sheldon's pointing a pistol at him, too. And, he's like, "You're not acting very Smoochy-like." He starts removing some of the stuff. He's like, "I don't feel really Smoochy-like."
Yeah, yeah.
And then he says, like, the greatest line in all. He's like, "You just fucked with the wrong rhino."
Yeah.
The Irish gang comes up. They stop him from doing it. She's like, "Come on, don't throw away who you are for this piece of shit.
Yeah.
Let us handle it."
I love it, because it's like, hey, don't do this. We fucking do this.
Yeah, Tommy was the voice of reason for him.
Yes.
What I love is if you see, she's like takes him, slowly just walks away. Just like really mothers him. In the background, you see the goons just beating the shit out of the two of them. And it's just like, yeah. And then they come back. And then she walks them off, sends them on their way. Like, "You guys go. We got this now. Don't worry." Comes back, looks at both of them. "You boys ever traveled before?"
About ready to do some traveling together.
Yeah. You guys ever traveled together before?
Yeah.
Those are not some good last words you want to hear. No. And then it ends with, Edward Norton and Kathleen Kern.
Kathleen Keener.
Right?
Catherine Keener. Oh, my God. Catherine Keener. Yes. Yes.
Keener.
You are so close. It's like both names are slightly wrong, but you are so close.
Kathleen Keener. Okay. We see them kiss, camera spins around, and then we see a new show that is Smoochy the Rhino and Rainbow Randolph, best friends forever.
Yes.
To like the greatest end credit sequence I think I've seen on film in a long time.
Well, we get the end credit sequence, and I'm not sure how intentional it is, because the credits are actually done in Comic Sans yellow with very basic edits in them, transitions into them, like stock transitions.
You caught that too?
Oh God, yeah, Jesus. I mean, I'm not.
I mean, that's the kind of highbrow that Danny would go for, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, overall, excellent movie. One thing I did want to bring up, which I thought was a nice touch, was Robin Williams gets beat up throughout this movie, but when he has his turn, his his wounds are suddenly in much better shape. He's opening both eyes 100%. He's doing a lot better, just physically.
Yeah, that first shot after he and Edward Norton they resolve their differences in the suite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you see him. He looks 100% better.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yep.
And it's just like, so it's like a mindset thing. I've noticed that the more I watch it, and I do like it. And also, like, the times wherever we see him, it gets from a period of being moderately lit to a little less lit, a little less, a little more dark, a little more dark, and then very dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that firelight. And then, hey, he was baptized in fire.
Yeah.
And then better, yep.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah. This was an excellent movie. I really liked it. I just kind of dig Danny DeVito in general. But like, just the style, we're gonna do dark shit. We're gonna go down a dark path.
I definitely told you, if you're familiar with Danny DeVito and how his films look and feel, you'll love this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's very true, because it definitely has his signature all over it. But also, like, I think with the cast as well. Because I feel like with the director, he definitely has a strong say in who is cast in his movies. But, like, they all definitely are very great at what they play. And I don't know, I guess he gives the right direction to his actor, to his cast. I kind of want a set of those, like, Smoochy and Rhinette dolls. Those little wind-up toys.
Nah, I could probably go for that, but Smoochy would be 100% against it.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that would all be sold separately.
Yes.
That when they're in that scene, the marketing scene for Smoochy stuff, which, Edward Norton looks like he was going to have an aneurysm over. I did love the shot of the Frisbee coming at him.
Yes. Yeah.
And in that documentary, or in that DVD, there was like bloopers and behind the scenes, deleted scene stuff. Just all of that was just on one clip reel. Early DVD, like we're talking cardboard cover, flip over DVD.
Oh, I hated those.
I did too. It looks so bad
cheap.
on the shelf.
Yeah.
And you never had enough to fill up a full shelf, like, because you didn't want to own that many of them.
Yes.
There was like a scene of like the camera following that Frisbee, and Edward Norton, you see him duck, and then he kind of slid right back in the way because I guess it's up on the track, and you see him kind of push it backwards. So it's like, oh, is that like on a track?
Yeah.
That's cool. Can I see more about how that shot was done?
Yeah. And I just, of course, he's like, oh, you dropped that. Let me go get it. And of course, they lock him out. Let me go get it. What the fuck?
I love his Amber in a dick measuring contest with Brown on Brown for the shampoo.
Yeah.
Oh, and the cereal.
Yum.
All right. Let's get into Knot of Thrones.
Knot of Thrones. Yes. Well,
the Witch of Vikings Thrones.
Well, this is I love this series. I don't think you're as into it. I think you probably liked it more in the rewatch, but
I did, and like the rewatch, I kind of tried to pay a little bit more attention, but I don't know. I felt like the exposition was really just hard to follow. Just for me, it was. Now, I mean, from what I was gathering, I did like it. I just kind of felt having like those, I guess maybe 3 or 4 main storylines going through the first season.
Yes, there are actually 3 timelines going on, and they do all converge. But yes, there are 3 timelines that are taking on it distinct points that converge at different parts throughout the series.
Yeah.
In fact,
you see, if I would have known that going in, I would have had a lot more patience for it than I did. Because watching a lot of it going like, okay, so is this, we're following this must be important, but none of this information really seems like it's leading to anything that I'm aware of. Like, I don't know what it's building to. I don't understand why it's important to building to. Like, why is there that cauldron of, why is that lady stealing up farm girls for her witchcraft sacrifice stuff? Like, well, just, it was, I guess, like the lore was lost on me, and maybe it's like I just wasn't aware of it going into it or versed well enough to it. Well, like, I really felt missing out and not playing the game. Like, I really did.
Well, I
feel like Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I only played the game a little bit after watching the first season, and it was only Witcher 3 for a little bit. And it's not bad. I don't have the time for video games like I once did. I've not read the books at all. To my understanding, they borrow a lot from the books here. But I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's partially my fault because I don't like to tell people about the timeline stuff because I kind of thought there was a timeline thing going on in this second episode. And then when we get hard evidence of it in the third episode, I'm like, yay! And I always thought that was cool. I didn't want to steal people for that, but maybe I should because I do feel like lots of people... Yeah, I feel like lots of people are just like, what? There's a timeline thing?
Yeah, because with the third one, I'm just kind of at the end of it going, so why did we waste our time with all of that? And this couldn't have just been told, like...
Well,
just like I was just kind of like, yeah, like what? I just thought it was unnecessary to explain it and set it up as opposed to just having that be pre-exposition prior to the series.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I wrote down a breakdown of the timelines to make it simpler for everybody. So I'm going to go through it over here. Okay. So to define the timelines, I'm going to do some shorthand. So if we go based on alphabetical order, Ciri would be timeline A, Geralt would be timeline B, and Yennefer would be timeline C. However, you might prefer if we do it based on order of appearance. So in that case, we'll call Geralt timeline A, Ciri timeline B, and Yennefer timeline C. But of course, based on importance, I think we should probably do Geralt timeline A, Yennefer timeline B, Ciri timeline C. So now that we've made it simple, let's go ahead and talk. Let's go ahead and go through these episodes. Now, throughout the earlier episodes, we get clues that the timelines might take place at different times. Like, we see the adult versions of the characters in Episode 3 in timeline A, or B, and we also see those characters are children in timelines A, B, or C. In Episode 4, we clearly see that timelines A, or B cross over with timelines A, B, or C, but clearly in earlier time, since many of the characters in that episode die in Episode 1 during timeline A, B, or C. Episode 5 sees timeline A, or B converge with timeline A, B, or C. Then in Episode 7, we see that happening during timeline A, or B during the events of timeline A, B, or C during Episode 1. And finally...
I don't have the money to replace my 70-inch television that I put a hole through.
Wait. No, it gets easier. And finally, we see in the season finale, we see timelines A, B, or C converge with timeline A, B, or B in timeline A, B, or C. I'm glad now I've been able to clarify everything. And all your questions on timeline are now answered.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes. What? I thought that was very clear. It all takes place in timeline A, B, or C, or timeline A, B, or C, or timeline A, or B. Right? Wait, what is it? No, this thing, it does have the timeline thing I almost pseudo forgot about because when I went back to rewatch it, it's like, oh yeah, there's totally a collapsing timeline thing. I want to say the most similar thing to it would be Dunkirk. Whereas Dunkirk, I feel, might have done it, it definitely did it differently. Christopher Nolan in Dunkirk did like a very systematic, this is the timeline for the pilot, this is the timeline for the people on land, this is the timeline for...
I found some of my notes from the first viewing of it.
Yes.
Or I guess the first half, which was I did end up was taking notes very vigilantly the first 3-4 episodes, and then I kind of put my phone down and got super hyper focused on it. So I did enjoy the first season, how everything wrapped up. I want to be clear about that. But I'm never that super stoked when it comes to video game adaptations.
Oh, for good reason.
Yeah, for good reason. That reason is probably the same reason that you have, and that's Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, God. I wasn't even thinking that specific, but all of them suck. When Sonic the Hedgehog is one of your best adaptations, you're in trouble.
The stuff that I loved a lot about this was definitely the world building that they did in those. I really got into that aspect of it. I was enjoying it, but I just kind of wish that every time they would cut to different AA or BA or CAB or whatever,
yes,
they would. I would be getting really hooked and okay, I'm starting to understand this lore. this is what I was wanting. I want the lore explained to me, so I get it. This is the first episode. You use this to build your world and explain your lore. They would just cut to a different story, and it's like, okay, where were we with this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I remember that. Oh, this is the little child. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, so Grandma is alive. Okay. Well, we did just see her left for dead. But, like, you know, I was enjoying the storytelling and, you know, the magic of the world and the background and the setting, the sets and everything. I love the world building. Yeah, that's pretty much, I went on about that for a long time, yeah.
No, the actual, like, production design for this movie, for this series, is fucking gorgeous. Oh my god, it looks amazing. Yeah, even like,
clothing and the armor and all of that looks really great.
Well, just the sets, the locations, I imagine.
Those royal halls in almost every castle we've seen so far is just, wow, this looks cool.
Yeah, the raw look of this blows away 90% of movies.
And it took me about 5 episodes to realize that the queen was Maggie the Frog from Game of Thrones.
Oh, I never caught that. No.
It took me about 5 episodes to kind of be like, fuck, she's Maggie the Frog.
Yeah.
The wife was like, what are you talking about? She's Maggie the Frog.
Mm-hmm.
What? Yeah, you know, like the lady who told Cersei that, you know, she'd have 3 kids and they'd all die. Oh, yeah. The one who predicted her death, too. Yeah. That's her.
Yeah.
Well, not her, but...
Yeah.
But, I mean, I did straight think she was Lady Aaron for the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like, huh, I swear that was Lady Aaron, but there's a kid attached to her teat.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, you have brought up Game of Thrones, and to me, this has always been Game of Thrones meets Supernatural.
Yeah, and like the magic and everything, I was starting to really get it, but again, just I don't know. I guess I just kind of like it being spoon-fed when it's something that is like, you know, medieval and magic and dragons, because I feel that just kind of helps build it more as opposed to just going, here's this magic.
Yeah. Well, they do.
And they about it 4 episodes later. Yeah.
Don't. Because, one of the things I have noticed was they bring up how the magic, like, you know, they make something float, but then, like, their hand ages, and they have to learn how to channel it properly. I don't feel like that's well explained. It's like the one person ages their hand, and then the next person, you know, they focus it into a flower and kills the flower. But in general, they just then start doing stuff without really explaining what they're channeling into. And I thought it would be nice, you know, little touches, like you see them do magic and then you see the grass around them die or something like that. You know, something like that I think would be nice that they don't really focus as much on. But, I was talking about Dunkirk and the timelines, because Dunkirk does a very formal thing. Have you seen Dunkirk?
No.
It's a World War II thing. I don't remember the event. It's a big event, though. But essentially, you have, like, Tom Hardy
Battle
and...
Dunkirk?
Yeah, well, yes, but yes.
yeah, that's probably what it's about.
What? No, I'm pretty sure it's about something else, but...
No, isn't that that's a town, isn't it?
Yeah. But,
I mean, it's been a while since world history, dude, so, like, I'm gonna be honest.
Essentially, what you have is, like, Tom Hardy's in an airplane. The entire movie takes place over, like, 2 hours for him. You have people on the beach. The entire movie takes place over something like 2 weeks for them.
Okay. And
you just got a beginning and end, and you see how there's points where it converges. I think there's also a boat, and the entire movie takes place over maybe a day for them. And you just see them converge and deconverge at different points. It's done very systematically. Like, Christopher Nolan does stuff like that very systematically. This show does the same thing, but does it more artistically, where it takes kind of liberties, which might be kind of the issue a lot of times.
So, like, what you're describing, how, like, those edits and telling the story in different parts of the story.
Yeah.
That sounds like what Tarantino's been doing his whole career.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And I definitely say Witcher's more in the Tarantino camp than Dunkirk.
Okay.
But yeah, Dunkirk's the most clear example.
For the violence and TNA department, can confirm.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I was very surprised about that at first. Yeah. The longest time I thought Yennefer's power was just, did she just take her top off? Is that her?
And I do think there's contract negotiations because I know she's naked a lot in the first season and then not all in the second.
yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed how covering her clothing is.
Yeah. Well, it does get a bit ridiculous in the first one. It's like every episode, I think we see her naked. It's like, yeah, she's beautiful, but come on, guys. Come on.
I mean, like, I don't mean to sound belittling, but,
yeah.
But it's just kind of more like, God, all right. Like, is this necessary for the spell?
I mean, I think we see her topless more than Geralt. And
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's not even... Like, I don't even think that's technically considered nudity
I
for
think
a man.
First scene I've seen of excessive nudity so far in the second season was like, in episode 3 or 4? Where they find that whorehouse.
Oh, yeah. Well, there is not that much nudity in the second season. I think you're getting lots of contract negotiations towards that, which I get.
Yeah, good. Good. Because, I mean, sometimes it's excessive, and when it's called for, I guess it's called for.
Yeah. It didn't really bug me, but yeah, it did feel a bit excessive, especially with Yennefer. It felt like every spell she needed to cast was like, I need to pull out my boobs for this spell.
It's like, oh, okay, all right. Okay, there they are.
There's a genie? Okay, here's my boobs.
It was just kind of almost like, well, they're old news, so yeah.
Yeah, I saw those last episodes like 15 minutes ago. Okay.
I think actually the same timestamp in the previous episode.
We're going to do
I'm going to write this down and see.
We're doing it good.
Yep. Sure enough.
We're going to do Yennefer's boobs on a collapsing timeline.
But hey, I mean, I'm at least happy that she was able to at least get a contract to do it. I'd noticed, and this is actually where I noticed that she really hasn't gotten naked at all this season, which, and the contract actually makes sense. But there was a shot in one of the episodes where she was visiting the guy in prison in the second season, where they framed her just to where it was cutting her dress off enough to where, like about yay and up.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, wait, where did she get naked? She had a full gown on. I remember even watching it thinking that, like, wait, she had a gown on. That was over her shoulders. Like, what the? And then, oh, okay. Is that maybe how he's perceiving her, or what? What?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is it when she's being interrogated?
She was interrogating him.
Oh.
And she left the scene, and then it revealed that she had that dress on that was just from here down.
Well, I do remember she had a super low-cut dress where it's like if it's cut any lower, her tits are hanging out, but it's
I think
it's not.
It was red or like green, like.
Well, I'm thinking of is black.
Maybe it might have been that.
Yeah,
I might have had my settings or my brightness set up.
But yeah, going into the season 1, there's the collapsing timeline. We obviously get the destruction of Calanthe by Nilfgaard, who are pretty much set up as the villains. A little bit, I played the video game. They are not so villainous, but maybe I haven't played far enough into it. Because I've barely played that video game.
I have not at all.
I'm
curious
fun.
Too, if, like, I get to, like, fucking kill motherfuckers like that.
Well, Witcher 3 is considered one of the best video games ever, which is what I have. I've not. Like I said, I haven't played very far into it. But yeah, I really liked... I like the mixture of those two essentially stories. Like, I'm okay with it being Game of Thrones-like. Mainly as long as it does kind of its own thing, which it kind of does, just doing the Monster Hunter shit.
It does. It does, and I think to a degree, I think they borrow enough from it to where, like, a casual Game of Thrones fan, even to an avid Game of Thrones fan, could easily just start watching it. But, like, I mean, for me, it's like, it won't replace Thrones.
No, and it shouldn't even try.
And, I mean, no matter how much you make him look like a Targaryen.
Well, I'm pretty sure, I mean, that's the way he looks in the game.
That's
so
how he
I'm
looks
pretty sure it's the books, yeah.
I know.
Though it's worth talking about Henry Cavill, because... Like, I always felt like he was underused as Superman, and that's... Like, he could have been a good Superman, but man, he's not rich in it.
So what are you saying? He should have saved his dad?
Yes, but that's... Or at least learn, like... There's so much they come down with that scene, but they waste it. I've talked about ad nauseum in my videos, though.
If they die, they die.
Yeah. But I think he's a great Geralt of Rivia. That's the thing. I think he had potential to be a good Superman, but he actually is a good Geralt.
I agree with you there. He definitely he has the potential to be such a great Superman.
Yeah,
such a great Superman.
It seems like DC's gonna flush that down the toilet. I mean, we're 8 years out from Man of Steel, so
yeah, and I mean, with that, I don't know. I feel the problem with Superman whenever they try to put him on screen is either they're going to shove the allegory that he is Jesus, he is Jesus, and you know, if you don't really say it or try to visually show it, you just subtly imply it.
Yeah,
kind of like how Donner did in 1 and 2.
Yeah,
it's good. Snyder kind of insistent on it. I don't want to talk about the Bryan Singer one, Superman Returns.
Well, Bryan Singer's got all issues going on. That being said, Brandon Routh was all right. I don't want to.
Yeah. No, nothing against him. But the best part of that movie is when they realized there used to be 2 dogs. But no, Cavill was great as like the lead. I enjoyed him so much as it's like I really am kind of enjoying the character and the development. Yeah. I'm really enjoying the minstrel that's following him in this first season.
Well, he's how far did he get in second season? Because he comes back.
He just made his big grand. I didn't finish season 2. I think I did. I might have because I binged the first one in one day. That was a jarring task. I took
shit.
Yeah, I took the following day to kind of just rest my brain and watch Deathless Smoochy. And then over the past 2 days, I've been trying to catch up and finish season 2. I think I've watched a lot of it yesterday and on New Year's Day. So I think I fell asleep somewhere in the middle on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And woke up kind of near the end and kind of was in and out during it. And I'm kind of just trying to see, because I know I've at least seen bits and pieces of all of this.
Well, yeah, and season 1, like I would definitely say I like season 1 more than season 2, because season 1, I actually kind of like the timeline thing, though I can understand why it's jarring. But I like how it all kind of just comes together. I love seeing where Geralt's at when that's revealed where he's at in episode 1. Essentially, seeing that while this castle, Calanthe is getting invaded by the Nilfgaard, and Ciri's being released saying, "Hey, go find Geralt." He's in their fucking dungeon, saying, "Hey, Nilfgaard's coming to attack. I would like to take Ciri with me under this law of plot convenience."
Plot armor.
Yes, law of plot convenience. I can call upon her whenever it's convenient to the plot. But finding out he was sent to the prison because they were like, "Yeah, no, you can't take her," and he's just there saying, "I need to protect her. She's my responsibility to protect her, and I need to do this." And one of the things I actually like, and this throughout both series, is it's partially Cavill's performance. How he's so just quiet and just withdrawn, and he doesn't show his emotions, but you tell he has them.
Yeah.
He is all about Yennefer. I don't think it's ever been firmly established what his wish was with her. But yeah, he is definitely into Yennefer in a big way.
I mean,
yeah.
I will admit, her transformation, I was amazed, and I even had to pull my phone out and Google is that a different actress?
Yeah.
And then going, no, she just had a shitload of prosthetics. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow, completely different person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's good on the eyes.
Yeah, they made her unrecognizable in all that prosthetic. Like that kind of obviously that big piece that was right here.
Well, yeah, they had a piece to make her chin stick out, and then a huge hump on her back.
Yeah.
But season 1, I really like it. If you're not familiar with it, there's timeline issues. Essentially, God, I don't know the exact. I want to say Yennefer's timeline is like takes place over 100 years. Geralt, I want to say, is probably at least 30. And Ciri's is probably like a week.
Yeah. Like, all of that is a span of a week
Yeah.
for her.
And you can tell it feels like there's less motion going on for hers. We see plenty of her timeline, but it feels like there's less going on. Whereas Geralt's like has like a monster of the week thing almost going on. And Yennefer, yeah.
That is actually kind of what got me to like it a little bit more.
Yeah. Well,
I particularly really enjoyed the first one that he had. That one that looked like those kind of spider demons from Attack of the Clones.
was that like the very first one?
Opening scene, the one.
Okay, opening scene, yeah.
Knife, he put a sword right through that fucker's head.
Yeah. Feel sorry for that deer, but Geralt had a good meal.
Yeah, he had a good meal out of it.
Yeah.
I even thought to myself, well, no sense wasting the meat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a decent pelt. I'm sure you can salvage what you can of that pelt.
It gives you
Sense wasting the meat. Yeah.
gives you an idea of Geralt, but
It was a mercy killing.
yes. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first watched this, I thought Yennefer was gonna go full villain. And
Yeah, I did too.
She didn't. But she does go into dark magic, which has a penalty mainly seen in season 2. Dark magic, fire magic, which is supposed to be forbidden, which is something I kind of missed on my first watch through, because they mention it, but they also mention Vizimir and the other Witchers, which I kind of missed. But anyways, upon watching season 2, that's when my mom is like, oh, that's the character from the animated movie. And I'm just like, animated movie? What animated movie?
Yeah, I had just finished that full binge when you sent me that, and I'm like, no.
No, yeah,
No more.
It's not
No more.
It does set up the whole series and mainly season 2, but yeah, it is it's not bad. It's the story of Vizimir. We'll go ahead and switch over to season 2. Season 2. Tweezin. It is Tweezin 2.
Oh, so you did listen to that fish stream then, all right.
Oh yeah. I got this covered. No,
the
but
tweezers.
no, the whole animated movie, it's not bad. It's a setup for Vizimir and the Witchers.
Okay.
We kind of see the setup, and it kind of helps set up like the supporting characters, especially because we see how Geralt really takes to Ciri and he treats her like a child.
Yeah.
She wants to be a Witcher and it's expected that she would become a Witcher, but he's not on board with that. Just knowing what's entailed, like he's being warmed to it, but we also see how we see Vizimir, who's like the head of the Witchers at this point, and the movie actually. The big point of that movie is that we see all the Witchers die except Vizimir and all the child trainee Witchers they have. One of which is obviously Geralt, and we see at the end of the movie he takes them on. So he is like the last of his batch of Witchers, and we kind of get an understanding just from that watching this season how he feels about all the other Witchers is how Geralt feels about Ciri. You know, Geralt kind of takes a father-daughter relationship. Well, he's like a father-son relationship to all the other Witchers. And the big bad, the big bad last season was essentially Nilfgaard, but I don't recall a pinnacle bad they had to take down. It's just kind of Nilfgaard fucking things up. But the big bad here is we got a Deathless Mother, who we actually see throughout the season. And I actually think it's kind of clever because I actually managed to watch this twice, which is why I'm burnt out on Witcher right now. But I watched this season twice, but there's actually a scene where you see Vizimir talk about the origins of the Deathless Mother. And then next we cut to a scene where Yennefer and Frandrilla, who is the Nilfgaard sorcerer, and then the elf person, queen, I don't remember her name, are visiting this witch in a cabin, and upon rewatch I realized, oh fuck, that's Deathless Mother. So it actually does a good job setting things up without setting it up. I guess it benefits to rewatch. But the Deathless Mother is the big villain. she's after Ciri because Ciri is like ancient blood. And we even see throughout here that they can't make any more Witchers because they don't have the ingredients. Except Ciri's blood that she's been bleeding all over the Witcher course because she really wants to be a Witcher. She is all on board with this.
I'm enjoying her trying it. Actually, the most recent one she did is she got all the way to the end, but lost her balance on the landing.
I know.
And he walks up to her and he was just like, almost made it.
Yeah.
And I was
it's
just
it's pretty harsh, but yeah.
I was like, dude, I get it's supposed to be motivating, but like, that's the best she's done.
Yeah.
Really?
And let's face it, it was a minor mistake. She had it. It was a
Bud, you want to talk about some of the landings I have personally watched you stiff?
Yeah. But
that one actually got me. I was like, dude, fuck you.
Yeah. That was probably the coldest we've seen him. And he can get kind of cold, but yeah.
I mean, when he's cold to people I don't care about, I love that. But I just for that little girl, like she's been through more than enough in the first 3 episodes.
Well, I think it's also worth noting that him saying that you also have to put in context. He's definitely seems to be against her being a Witcher.
Yeah.
So he is the one probably most against it. Like he definitely seems to be warming to it throughout the season, mainly because she's really dedicated to it, and there's no stopping it. And part of the season is how Vesemir, who's the head Witcher, and Triss, who's a wizard or mage we saw in the first season kind of coming back, figure out a way to make a Witcher serum out of her blood. And part of her deal is, okay, I'll give it to you, but I won't be the first one to take it. And you gotta give respect to Vesemir, because his initial reaction to her making that deal was, no, I'm out. Absolutely not, because that is a bad fate. Now, he does warm to it, but even after he warms to it, even Geralt's like, fuck, no, we can't do that.
I did like that one guy who, the red-haired guy, but like with the clean shaven in the castle, the guy who's been very encouraging of her training. Of her being a Witcher in season 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There are
there's a black guy and a ginger looking guy. They both were kind of first kidding about her being a little princess.
Okay, yeah. No.
Yeah, those two. Yeah.
Well, I think you're talking about Lambert then, who is
Lambert,
not
okay.
He's not super nice, but
well, he's being supportive.
Yeah, he's not particularly supportive either.
He's encouraging.
I don't even know if I would go that far, but
he got her up there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah,
he got her up there.
No, he's a character like he's a dick, and he is one of the survivors of this season, which I kind of like. But
good.
It's like
because actually, when I was like trying to catch up and see stuff that I remember and don't remember from my in and out of consciousness. There was a few times I was saying, like, I swear that was Tormund if he had a beard.
Well, that's the thing. He's not clean shaven, I'm pretty sure.
No, there was some guy who was. How I kept saying, like, I'd swear that was. Not him. I must be thinking of somebody else.
I don't know.
Again, I did binge a lot of these back to back almost, so it's a lot of it kind of bled together.
Well, yeah. Fun fact, we were not going to do 2 seasons of a series in 1 episode again. I think I'm fine doing a season, but like 1 season and maybe a couple movies. Oh my god, movies are easier. She's training to become a Witcher. Meanwhile, Yennefer has lost her powers and is looking to regain them. That seems to be her main focus. And she is making we don't know it's the Deathless Mother until later. She's making deals with the Deathless Mother to get her powers back, which involve essentially bringing Ciri to the Deathless Mother. Obviously, that's the villain goal here. Because Ciri is super powerful of elder blood, they find out, like old elven blood. Even the elves are like, holy shit, that's elven. That's super late going in. I think that's the last episode where they find out. They're like, holy crap.
Yeah, the last episode I watched before we started was she and she and like 3 other people were all working together and breaking out of a prison, and one just ran away while another got pulled under by some tentacle squid thing.
Oh yeah, that thing. That I'm not gonna lie, that scene always felt super weak because we get the character who's talking about this is gonna be my life and it will be wonderful and I'll do this and that, and then he's going over that, and I'm just thinking to myself, dude, you're like dead in like 2 seconds, and yeah. You can't do a speech like that and not die almost instantly. It's like, yeah, you are not getting that life. You're lucky if you make it to the next scene. But yeah, this season I would argue it's not as good as the first one. I do like Geralt actually feels warm this season. I don't think you've gone to the point where he reunites with the bard Jaskier. But oh my god, that scene!
The entertainer, the singer.
Yes.
Can I just talk about him for a moment as a character?
Absolutely, like, he's awesome.
Absolutely favorite part of the show. So much so that midway through the first season, I was literally Googling loons, like where to buy one, looking at it, looking at ways to play it, kind of understanding the instrument, going like, I fucking want one of those.
No, he's totally a highlight of this series.
And the song and the music, oh man, it is great. I'm loving it.
Lots of my playlists have a toss a coin to your Witcher in them because, fuck, it's a good song.
It is. It's kind of really making me want to, like, you know, don a kilt and go to Ren Fair.
But yeah, his character, he's kind of annoying, kind of obnoxious.
At first.
But you kind of love him too.
Yeah.
And he does mean well. Like, you especially see that in season 2. Like, he talks about Yennefer as if she's like his worst enemy.
Yeah. Yet
he is 100% on board with helping her because he's just that guy. You need his help, he'll give you help. You know. And I don't want to spoil it because you should just watch the scene where he reunites with Geralt. But that is one of the warmest scenes in the series. It is. Oh my god! It's like Geralt is almost gushing in that scene. For Geralt.
Okay.
It's so wow. But yeah, I don't like this as well as the first season, but I do like it a lot. The sets are still top notch. The sets and the effects, holy crap! Like, they go all out on this series. I love it. I think it's a great series. I think Netflix does a great job with it. I like that it's Game of Thrones-esque without, like, feeling like a full-on copy of Game of Thrones, which, I'm not going to lie, what I've seen of Wheel of Time is starting to feel like that, which is really disappointing because I like that book series.
Now, I will say, speaking of Game of Thrones with things coming up, though, House of the Dragon, that from that teaser that HBO has released, and that is all that I'm going off of with this, because I've found that, you know, within the past 2-3 seasons of Game of Thrones, the online community with it is twice as bad as Marvel, especially when it comes to revealing plot points and spoilers.
Yeah, all fan communities get toxic as hell sometimes. But it gets annoying.
It does. It truly does. And I mean, I still people bitching about, like, well, they didn't do that in the books. And I just always go, hey, can't we all just be together that we both like the same thing regardless of its form of media, that we're both into the lore? That's cool. Come on, guys. Don't make us slit each other's throats. Have we learned nothing from this story?
No.
But I am excited.
Now, is House of the Dragon, isn't that the one that was canceled, or is that something else?
That's something else. I think there was one that was going to be. I think this is supposed to be the Targaryens, or like the early days of the Targaryens dynasty.
Yeah, it was the one that had Naomi Watts in it that got canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is just one that was untitled, but it tied with the most expensive pilot ever made. Okay, so House of the Dragon is still go on to premiere next year. That's the one they're still sticking with. This is just another prequel that got canceled. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, I was trying to figure out. I was like, wasn't House of the Dragon canceled? No, I guess there's 2 prequels they were working on, at least.
There were. I mean, I just hope that, you know, I'm sure the one that got canceled is the one that had Robert's Rebellion, which is really, as a fan, what I want to see. I want to watch that whole war.
Yeah.
The whole rebellion. just as a fan, I want to see that. But I also do want to see like the Targaryens land and build King's Landing. I do want to see that. That would also be very cool.
There's lots of things I'd like to see.
There's also
I also want them done well.
Yeah, but I also want them to be done well.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. When you have the most expensive pilot ever and you get canceled, that's essentially HBO saying we're flushing that money down the toilet. That can't be good. That's gotta be bad. Then well, what I like about Witcher is it does kind of get that Game of Thrones thing going on, but it's not. It's obviously not Game of Thrones at the same time, and it's definitely better than Supernatural, which I don't know. I think it was fine for a while, but damn, you want to talk about a series that went on way too long? Supernatural. Supernatural makes Dexter look like it was short run. But Witcher. I loved it. You have any final thoughts before we move on?
No, I am excited. I am excited to finish the series, and it is growing on me. But again, like I do feel very lost on the lore. But it looks great. The score is great. It's shot beautifully. The cinematography in this is absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do want to stress the lore. You can get it from the series because that's pretty much what I'm pulling it from. I don't really think there's anything from the video game that I didn't already know from the series. But might require rewatches, because I've seen Season 1 3 times now, although it's been a long time since I had seen the first season. And I saw Season 2 twice simply for the podcast, so I'm a little burned out on that one, because that has not been out that long.
Yeah, no.
All right. I know, we had next week kind of figured out. So next week we're going to talk about the new Netflix movie, Don't Look Up, which I saw the other day, and I definitely thought there's plenty to talk about there. We're going to watch Boba Fett. Whoever's out, I don't know what episode they're at with that series, at least one, probably two. And then we are not doing a season of a show. I know Cobra Kai just came out. I would love to talk about Cobra Kai. We are not doing a season. We're going to talk about the original Karate Kid. We're going to go back and do that.
Wax on,
and
wax off.
That sounds like a nice, relaxing episode. We're going to do.
Yes, that does.
3 things that are about 2 hours each. That sounds so relaxing.
Yes, that does.
And then after that, we're going to marathon every single season of Star Trek.
Yeah, we're splitting it up into 2. Like we're each tackling. We're going to do 2 apiece. I'm taking the Next Gen. And Deep Space Nine. Baba's got it.
Wait, what? You're giving me what? You're gonna give me Voyager and Enterprise? Fuck.
And we're gonna. But in between our breaks, we're gonna both group stream. So we're both gonna have to suffer through the original series.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? I'll get my revenge. You get TNG season 1, and I do believe nothing on TV is worse than TNG season 1.
Yeah, no, there is nothing worse than season 1 of that.
Oh, God, it's like the worst thing ever.
There's great stories, but, it's rough to get through.
No, it's actually, for me, that's always the question. What would you rather? A series like Game of Thrones that starts strong and ends weak, or a series like TNG that starts weak and ends strong?
Yeah, and
I lean towards TNG, but
ideally, I would like the weak point to be mid-season.
Yes, the middle as your weak point is always preferable.
Or I guess mid-series. Because The Sopranos started off decently strong.
Mm-hmm.
Decently strong. Had some lower points throughout it, but maybe controversial, but I'd say it ended strong too.
Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar with it, so I will go with your opinion. That sounds good to me.
No, if you can fit it in. Highly recommend checking the series out.
Sometimes we might sit down and do that for the podcast, but man, I don't.
Oh, I would
fit it in.
No, those are full 1 hour episodes, so that would be one that we would watch an episode and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it would just be me grinning, yeah. Oh, you think that, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Spoilers, man.
But so we got next week planned out. So I think we're good. So everyone have a good one.
Yes, take care and have a happy New Year.
I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job. I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.